Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.
I came across this, bro, on IG, and it said, in 1952, Wernher von Braun wrote a book called Project Mars, which imagined that human colonists on Mars would be led by a person called Elon. And I was like, wow, how's that for predictive programming? That's kind of weird, but I researched it.
Okay.
And I found the actual quote from the book. It
I
says,
knew he looked like a droid.
the Martian government was directed by 10 men, the leader of whom was elected by universal suffrage for 5 years and entitled Elon. So it's more of a title, like a president,
Gotcha.
right?
Wow.
Okay, but so Wernher von Braun, for those of you who don't know, was the German physicist who was the head of the rocket program for the Germans in World War II, and in Operation Paperclip,
So where we
the
got our
United
shit.
States brought him here, and he started NASA.
By osmosis.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. So I was like, yo, man,
Remix.
what is it? Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, guys. We'll trip on this in a second. Even harder. Oh, literally almost grabbed it by the nail.
sorry, bro.
Oh, my God, bro. Ah!
That would have sucked.
It would have been great fucking TV, though. We would have
been-
got like 30 more viewers.
That'd have been my fault. Yeah, that'd have been terrible, bro. Because we've both done that before, and yeah, that takes a little while to heal. Like this one right here, yeah, it's still got the little funky looking alligator skin.
Woo.
Yeah, that shit takes a little while to heal when you hit that shit.
Wow.
Man.
My man with the blowtorch, man. Yes.
I know, right? They
Bro.
clowned me at my birthday party, called me all kind of crackheads and shit because they
Bro.
roasted me. Yeah, it was good.
No shit.
Yeah, I gave my homie Drew the mic. Shout out to Drew. He's a comedian, so he roasted me.
Oh,
He's like, man, we always known you to smoke weed, but you took it to the next level with that. What is you, a bass head or some shit?
not the bass
Them
head.
dabs, man.
Not the bass
I'm about
head.
to take another dab just for you, Drew.
That's what's up, man. Props, dog. Take one for me too, please.
Got
man.
it, brother. You got
Dude,
it.
thanks, man.
So I was looking at this dude, and so I was like, all right, well, that's only weird if Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, right? And he says, Elon Musk, in this article I found from December 15th, I'll be surprised if we're not landing on Mars in 5 years. And goes down here and says, the next really big thing is to build a self-sustaining city on Mars and bring the animals and creatures of Earth there. Sort of like
Damn
a
it,
futuristic Noah's Ark. We'll bring more than 2, though. It's a little weird if there's only 2. It's a little weird, period.
Is this a
dude.
quote from Elon?
Yes,
This
dude.
guy's interesting.
So then in February, space policy expert Greg Autry told Business Insider that Musk likely won't reach Mars until at least 2029 with or without NASA's help. But it looks like he's getting NASA's help because I found this article. NASA's chief scientist quits, says he has a plan to terraform Mars. That was on January 3rd.
wow.
So
Terraform. What does that mean?
create an atmosphere.
Okay.
So this
yeah,
guy
there's
has
a video game like that.
Yeah.
This dude at my job used to play that shit. You gotta create an atmosphere and sustain a planet and shit.
There you go. These guys took it to the next level. So,
Let's do it, right?
yeah, this guy, dude, was the chief fucking scientist at this place for 3 years. For 12 years, was part of the chief operating core
Right.
and worked there for 40 years. Just walked
Bro,
away.
so you just said core, bro. And my mind still can't wrap itself around the idea of the cellular cosmology.
Yeah.
So now that I'm listening to you tell me this, I'm like, fuck, man. Can we go to these planets? Because if it's cellular cosmology based, then they're within. They're not
Yeah.
so far without. Everything's contained. You
Exactly.
know? So then I'm starting to look at shit differently a little bit. You
Watch
know?
this.
I'm like, man,
I'm gonna connect some dots for you right here.
You know
bro.
what's crazy about us though? I think
What?
not you though. You're kind of more maniacal than me. I don't know. Feels good to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, I don't even know. You be trying to figure that shit
Yeah.
out though, bro. You'll call me
mean-
at 3 a.m, like, bro, I think I got it. I got an angle.
This was like, hey, bro, you know I got a family, right? I got kids and shit,
No,
man.
but
You
listen
can't
to
be
this.
calling in the middle of the night, Mo. Tell me this bullshit, dog.
It ain't bullshit though. You
I'm
do
like,
be
hey,
on
bro,
one.
Morpheus just visited, bro. Let me tell you what he told me.
Oh shit. I
So
love
look at
it.
this shit, man.
Go ahead, man.
He talks about how they're going to do it. He's talking about putting a fucking magnet in between the sun and Mars, which would create heat on the planet, and the planet would react in a way where it would create its own atmosphere. and then the temperature would rise, and people could actually live on Mars, bro. He literally, like right here, it's doable. This is a quote. It's doable. Stop the stripping, and the pressure is going to increase. Mars is going to start terraforming itself. That's what we want. The planet to participate in this any way it can. When the pressure goes up, the temperature goes up.
That's what this Total fucking Recall guy said. Shit,
exactly,
huh?
Bro.
Man.
Exactly. But it's like, yo, did they terraform this planet too? Is that how we came into existence? Is that what's going on? Do we just jump from planet to planet and do this? I'm not saying that is what happened, but obviously it is a possibility. This guy fucking said he can do it. So I looked up that Mars Project, the book, and this is what popped up, Project Mars. And I was like, okay, what is that? Project Mars, a 2006 science fiction novel by German-American rocket physicist Wernher von Braun. I'm like, how the fuck was it published in 2006 when the dude died the year I was born, 1977? And I'm like, wait a minute, dog. Like that doesn't. And I thought it was called the Mars Project. Like
it was written in 49.
Right.
Huh?
So I go down here, and the last line has a link to something called the Mars Project, and I go, oh. Why didn't you show me this first when I literally typed in the Mars Project? It deflects you to this information. So the last one was science fiction. You remember that's what it said, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the Mars Project is a 1952 non-fiction scientific book by the German rocket physicist, astronautics engineer, and space architect Wernher von Braun.
Also, they re-released it.
They re-released it as science fiction.
As science fiction. Holy shit.
In 2006.
Wow.
Right? An excerpt of it. But this is really what it was, bro. Listen, a fucking technical specification for a human expedition to Mars written by von Braun in 1948, bro. The year my mom was born. And was the first technically comprehensive design for such an expedition. The book has been described as the most influential book on planning human missions to Mars. Bro, this guy already knew how to do it in 1948. You don't think they've already done it? They're not already up there? You know what I'm saying? When they talk about all that shit, about cities and shit already existing on the moon and Mars. Dude, look how specified this fucking guy's plan was.
Mars has been a thing like our whole lifetime, bro.
Always. Always. And again, like we pointed out, like you just pointed out again, with cellular cosmology, if it's right there, dude, how simple is all this to really pull off once you know the coordinates? And it all breaks down to mathematics. These guys are geniuses in math. They break it down like, hey, man, this is how I can do this. This is the trajectory, everything they need. How much fuel they need to get there and back, all that.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So he wrote it in 1948. He said he envisioned an enormous scientific expedition, 70 crew members, 443 days on the surface of Mars. The spacecraft would have 7 passenger ships, 3 cargo ships. They would assemble them in the Earth's orbit. That's probably what they're already doing. All these satellite launches and shit they've been doing over the years.
What a trip.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy.
What are they building up there? They could be building up that, right? Instead of space stations, they could have already done it. I'm just saying they could have. I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying it's a possibility. He talks about all these heavy lift launch vehicles, nitric acid, hydrazine propellant, although corrosive and toxic. You could store it in refrigeration for a 3-year round trip. He calculated the size and weight of each ship, how much fuel each of them would require for a round trip, 5,320,000 tons. Right? Look at the trajectories, everything. He figured it all out. And so when you go down here, he talks, this is all details, more stuff, how they would do it. It's pretty interesting. You guys can look that up for yourself, but this is what I wanted to show you, bro. Because this talks about what we've been talking about indirectly with cellular cosmology.
Postulated. Let's hear about Halley's postulation.
Okay, so Halley, and I don't have his first name, but it's the guy who named Halley's Comet.
Okay.
All right. So Halley postulated that the Earth we walk on is a hollow shell about 500 miles thick with 2 inner concentric shells in an innermost core about the diameters of the planets Venus, Mars, and Mercury. These shells are separated by atmospheres, and each has its own magnetic poles. The spheres rotate at different speeds, thus accounting for long-term magnetic field variations. Right? So we've talked about that. A hollow Earth, if it's concave, right? We've talked about Admiral Byrd and the land beyond the poles. Listen, Haley even suggested that each sphere might support life. So they talk about the hollow Earth, life within the Earth, okay? Because the spheres were bathed in perpetual light from a luminous gaseous atmosphere that filled all of the inner spaces, he even entertained the possibility of more ample creation within the Earth, which might include suns. Have you heard the story of the guy, the Air Force pilot that was flying with Admiral Byrd, and all of a sudden they were in the Arctic or Antarctic, and all of a sudden, boom, they were in like a tropical area? Have you heard that story?
No.
Bro, they were flying in the Antarctic, and all of a sudden, they were in the tropical area with the sun and everything. And they were in the middle of a blizzard before that. And they're like, what the fuck? And according to this admiral from the Navy, he believes they found a way into the inner Earth accidentally over Antarctica, and that's why it's such a restricted territory, right? Because you can't go down there or anything.
Antarctica.
It's completely restricted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So there's all this like it's shrouded in mystery, right?
Red.
And these are all exactly.
That's
And
one
these
of
are-
our favorite I don't knows on this
Exactly.
podcast.
Exactly.
Chemtrails and Antarctica. That gets me riled up.
Right? Antarctica and chemtrails. The new right, we'll change it. So the Royal Society, they asked Haley to explain the exceptional auroral display of 1692. So apparently in 1692 they got those crazy auroras. And he says that it was caused by light from inside the Earth.
Damn, I want to go see the auroras.
Right?
You got to do that.
And he's talked about how it escapes because remember he talked about the inner concentric circles within? Okay, so this is what I'm postulating then.
Ooh,
So
you got a postulation?
I
up?
do indeed.
All right.
So if you take into account as above, so below, right? And what's you know what I wanted to point out was this real quick. Von Braun based his Mars project on the large Antarctic expositions of the day. For example, Operation High Jump. That's the one with Admiral Byrd. And that's what he based it on. Was a United States Navy program that included 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 23 aircraft. At the time, Antarctic explorers were cut off from the rest of the world, and the necessary skills had to be on hand to deal with any problem that arose. Von Braun expected the Martian explorers to face similar problems and included a large multidisciplinary crew in his mission. So they pretty much saw the environment on Mars.
You said too much, man. Martian explorers,
right?
And then the fact that the connection with General Byrd, you know, and his expedition.
Yeah.
And what you've been pointing out again and again is, if this was in the 40s, bro,
yeah,
what the hell is going on now?
Right.
Because we know these expeditions have
right.
furthered now. You
right.
know, like, that's why I always contended, like, the land beyond the poles, bro.
Exactly.
Like,
and what if not just that? What if they were practicing for Mars? They needed those conditions because what his plans were, if you go up here, he says, once in Mars orbit, the crew would use telescopes to find a suitable site for their base camp near the equator. A crewed wingcraft would detach itself from one of the orbiting ships and glide down to one of Mars' poles and use skis to land on the ice. Because it's so cold, there's ice all over the fucking place, right? So
that's the testing ground.
And there's nothing there. So that's the testing ground, Antarctica, right? And then I go down here and I find the Haley talking about how the shell of the Earth is thinner at the poles. As above, so below. Then that would mean the dome to the crystal sphere is thinner at the poles
in
too.
The middle, yeah.
Right. Maybe that's actually where the hole is, and maybe that's why it's so cold at the poles. Because it's so cold in space. As above, so below, right? And if you can leave the Earth there, maybe his land beyond the poles, you can go inside the Earth as well. As above, so below. That's where the escape route is. And that's why it's so fucking plugged. Yeah, that's what I fucking postulate sick. From when I was reading all that.
Damn, that's sick, dog.
Maybe that's why they were down there running all those experiments. Maybe they were. Yeah.
It. That's why
for sure.
That's why it's no access.
Yeah.
No fly zone.
Everything.
Yeah.
They're coming and going. Mm-hmm. They're leaving. They're going down in the fuck right.
The whole entrance.
An entrance to the hollow Earth. And these aren't suckers, man. These aren't like nobodies. Like, I mean, the guy that found Haley's fucking comet, for him to say like, nah, man, this is fucking gas that's escaping from one of the inner fucking layers of Earth, bro. You know what I mean?
That's what tripped me out,
Good
is
point.
because if General Berg is like one of the people that we can reference as regular people who
Yeah.
don't know too much except for these breadcrumbs that we can
Yeah.
read or the tea leaves, you know, just picture how many, you know, pieces of information there are out there, because he was just one person that happened to come forward on a talk show, you know, and say that, you know. And there, you know, there's been people here and there that have tried to hint at things, and you got to read between the lines, you know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because a lot of the astronauts, you know, said
Oh yeah.
interesting things.
Yeah. There's that one, I forgot who it was, but
We covered some of that shit
yeah,
on the pod.
that guy
before.
came with the Bible and was like, "Hey, put your hand and swear on this that you've been to the moon." Did you see that? It was like Buzz Aldrin or something.
Yeah.
Some guy walked up to him with a Bible and was like, "Put your hand on this and swear that you went to the moon." He was like, "Get away from me!" And he like scooted out all crazy and shit. I was like, "Yo, bro, why wouldn't you just be like, man, I went to the moon. Now get the fuck out of my face, you
Hey,
weirdo."
Has anybody been to the moon yet? You guys know?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think they have. I just don't think that what they showed on TV was a real moon landing.
Lance
I
Armstrong? Is that him?
Oh, they're close. Yeah, fucking Neil Armstrong.
Okay.
Close though.
Neil Armstrong.
Might as well been Lance Armstrong.
Hey, supposedly the first person to land on the moon, right?
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong.
I think they had already been there before then. That's my personal opinion. I think they were already up there doing
A
shit.
lot of it's sketchy though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to dig into it on the pod, like, because they said it rung like a bell.
I think, yeah, we think it's a hollow base that was positioned there by somebody because the calculation is so perfect. He did a whole you guys check the
It's like a
segment out if you
satellite,
haven't
bro.
seen it. It's called Lunar Deception.
Yeah.
The whole segment, it's dope. And it's not a natural orbiting satellite, bro. There's no fucking moon like it in our galaxy. It's the perfect size to block out the sun, even though the sun supposedly is hundreds of millions of miles away from it. So in order for that mathematical precision to take place, the only way, bro, that it could take place is that it was not a natural satellite. It was created and towed
right there. Yeah.
right there in place
Because
there.
that's why we have a perfect eclipse.
Wait, so the sun
like
itself is a satellite or something?
No, the moon is an the moon is
I mean the moon.
The moon, yeah.
The moon, yeah.
is
It's
an
a
unnatural
satellite.
satellite, meaning that
Possibly,
a moon itself is a satellite. Anything that orbits a planet is considered a satellite.
For that long?
What do you mean?
I mean, since
What's
like
up?
you know, people can recall like
Yeah, but there's a lot of
1800s or
writings. What's
whatever.
amazing is there's a lot of writings from the past where people talk about it. Hey, what's up, brother? How are you? Yeah, good to see you too. There's a lot of writings in the past, bro, where the people didn't mention a moon. You know?
really?
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
it's
I
a
didn't know
trip.
that, man.
It's a
Damn.
trip, you know? Well, who knows what?
We take
you know
all
what
this
I mean?
stuff for granted, man, and then it's funny when you start
Yeah.
reading and digging into it. You're like, what?
Yeah, what the fuck
Sick,
is going
dude.
on, you know?
Yeah, interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Because a
for
lot
sure.
of it, we don't even realize we've been indoctrinated as children, bro, because they just put it in front of us on the television screen and we just accept it, you know, not even putting much thought into it, you know.
Just reach
So
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool to look into though.
it definitely is, bro. All of this stuff. Because even just on the pod we just did last week, we covered planets that don't follow an orbit. They're just like
Yeah, bro.
planets that roam freely,
Yeah,
bro.
you know how initially we've all been told that fucking planets, in order to be a planet, you have to orbit a star, you have to orbit a sun. These planets are called rogue planets.
Rogue planets, bro.
Instead of 8 planets in our solar system, there's 150, bro.
So
that's
NASA's
what they're
just-
admitting to now.
NASA's just dropping this shit on us,
They're
like
just
left
dropping
and right,
bombs,
yeah,
like left and right.
Like,
You're
yeah,
like,
there's
yo, yo, yo,
aliens,
what?
there's rogue planets.
What do you mean,
know what I mean?
rogue planets?
All kind of shit, bro.
So yeah, little by little, the weirdest things are popping up.
Here we are.
Fuck yeah, dog. I love it, man. Let's
Yeah,
strap.
man.
You know,
Yeah.
buckle our seatbelts,
Hey,
man. So fucking
Exactly.
exciting.
That's how
Yeah.
I feel, man. What a time to be alive.
Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.